Would you agree with them at this point?
Most definitely. Anytime if my manager and my trainer feel that I'm confident and they're willing to put me in a title and they're sure I could beat the champion, I'm sure I could beat them also.
Of the 3 champions, who would you like to fight and why?
I'd fight anybody my trainer put me in with because I'm confident I could beat any fighter in the world.
Mike Tyson is one of the most gifted boxers in history and perhaps the most talented heavyweight.
Uppercut, and Marvis is hurt.
The potential of the Iron Mike was so great that he could dominate the ring for many years. But despite all of his brutality and the aggressiveness he displayed, he was a person who needed very delicate psychological support. When Cus D'Amato and later Kevin Rooney were beside him, Mike was a real machine of knockouts.
That's it. See, ain't no way he's gonna hit you then, right? And remember, it's always good to throw the punch where you could hit him and he can't hit you. That's what the science of boxing is all about.
I don't trust anybody in general. I don't like people to know me at all. And I just recently trust him because the same much I trust him, I guess he trusts me. And he trusts me a lot. So, but no one really knows Mike Tyson. Nobody's really friendly with Mike Tyson. Why? Except Cus D'Amato.
Against Hector Mercedes. We're in the Plaza Convention Center, Albany, and this is not going to take too long. We're in round 1. Mercedes already in trouble. He is going down. Is he? These big...
All right, they can find some fights.
Wild punches. Big left hook. 2 steps forward. Let's go with a couple of lefts. Now a right, a left. He's got him down.
Mike was in trouble in both the first and 10th rounds, and now he's in trouble here. Blood.
Sharp right uppercut to the body by Tyson. Again, a double right hand.
Davey Pearl looking very closely. And that's all. It's over. The bicycle had a flat tire.
20 months after his debut, Mike Tyson stepped into the ring against champion Trevor Berbick. The WBC title was at stake. About 8,800 people came to see this truly historic battle called Doomsday by advertisers, including movie stars and numerous celebrities. At age 20, Mike Tyson, because of his victory, became the youngest world champion in boxing history and exceeded Floyd Patterson's record. Only few people know, but one backstage conflict happened that evening. The famous Berbick coach, Angelo Dundee, knowing that Tyson would come out in his traditional black shorts, brought Berbick to the ring in black shorts. According to the rules of the Nevada Athletic Commission, the challenger had to choose a different color. But this psychological attack was useless. Tyson's team paid a fine of $5,000 and Mike came out in his traditional shorts. Tyson defeated him in 2 rounds and became the world champion. It was not a fight, it was an extermination. 3 times the champion fell to the floor after only 1 hit. Thus began a new era in world boxing, the era of Iron Mike Tyson.
I was coming to destroy and win the heavyweight championship of the world, which I done. And I'd like to dedicate my fight to my great guardian, Cus D'Amato. And I'm sure he's up there and he's looking and he's talking to all the great fighters and saying his boy did it.
And smiling, that's right.
Don King immediately organized a fight with James Smith for the next WBA belt. Despite the fact that Smith lost his first fight in the professional ring by a technical knockout, he was destined to take his own in the future. He defeated famous Englishman Frank Bruno and knocked out former WBA world champion Mike Weaver. But the climax of his boxing achievements was December 12, 1986, when he defeated Tim Witherspoon and won the championship belt, sending his opponent to the floor 3 times in the first round.
Witherspoon's still in trouble. Down he goes again, and now it's over.
Now Smith was waiting for a much more serious test, Iron Mike Tyson.
If Bone Crusher Smith were to fight a Muhammad Ali or a Larry Holmes in their primes, he might not hit them with their best punch in 100 rounds or 100 years for that matter. but he's fighting a man tonight who comes directly at him.
In May 1987, they had a duel which Mike defeated James Smith by decision of the judges.
Tyson unloading.
As good as Lewis.
Speaking of theater,
According to the results of the battle, Mike Tyson delivered 317 hits, of which 191 hit their target, accuracy of 60%. Smith's results were 223 hits, 51 on target, accuracy of only 23%. It was the 28th consecutive victory for Mike Tyson, a victory after which he could already show off 2 championship belts.
and I'm sure that's exactly what Bo Crusher Smith is going to be asking himself.
Mike Tyson versus Pinklin Thomas. The battle took place on May 31st, 1987. At this point, Mike was the owner of the WBA and WBC belts. Thomas approached this match with a good track record of a series of 3 victories in a row and was considered a serious test for the 20-year-old Tyson. And at the beginning of the match, it seemed so. Thomas managed to cope with the pressure of Iron Mike for 5 rounds. However, in the 6th 3-minute period, Tyson carried out a series of powerful uppercuts and hooks from both hands, some of which landed right on his opponent's jaw. Thomas stumbled, and then after another left hook, crumpled him to the canvas. He did not have time to get up before the end of the count, and the referee stopped the match. It's worth saying that before this fight with Mike Tyson, Thomas had never been knocked down.
By the count of 10.
The next opponent was Tony Tucker, the IBF title holder. Since the beginning of his career in 1980 and over the next 7 years, Tony Tucker had not known defeat. In April 1987, IBF World Champion Michael Spinks refused to defend his title against him and chose instead to fight Jerry Cooney for a higher fee. Tony Tucker had to meet James "Buster" Douglas in the fight for the vacant IBF title, and after 64 days, he was obliged to enter the ring against Mike Tyson in the final part of the tournament for the title of Absolute World Champion. The bookmakers' bets in this fight were 10-1 in favor of Mike Tyson.
Let's get it on, come on. Took a right from Tyson. And another big right by Mike Tyson. Get back, Mike. Get back. Did a very good first round for both men, and particularly for Tucker. The great left hand at the bell by Tyson. Get him out of there. I think Tucker on the other hand is fighting some curb jump. And there was a big right hand. I think he's watched my fight before. Yeah, I think he has too. I think his timing is not as good. There's a rumor about Tucker's right hand, that he had injured his right hand, and that's why he backed off training for the last few days. There was a big left hand, but again, Tucker takes it.
The fight went the whole distance, and only for the 3rd time in his professional career, Tyson had to give the judges the right to decide the outcome of the battle. The judges were unanimous in their decision to give the victory to Mike Tyson.
For the winner by unanimous decision and undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson.
Having lost his fight, Tony Tucker became the shortest-lived champion in history. At the age of 21, in his 31st fight, Mike Tyson becomes the undisputed world boxing champion. The last time this record had been broken was in 1979, when Leon Spinks triumphed over Muhammad Ali. Judging by the interview after the fight, Mike himself was not very pleased that he was unable to bring down his opponent ahead of schedule.
Undisputed heavyweight champion. Are you happy with the way you fought tonight?
Not really, because I was trying my best to punch inside, but it just wasn't together today, and he was very intimidating. It was very tough.
Was he a better fighter than you thought?
It was very hard to tell because he did a great deal of holding. He threw very fast punches. It was true.
And he really rocked you in the first round.
Yes, he did. He was a very hard puncher.
After Mike Tyson combined all 3 heavyweight belts, there arose a challenge to decide who the real champion was. First in line was Michael Spinks, who held the Ring Magazine title. The fight attracted great public interest and was called by promoters once and for all. The winner would leave the ring absolute and unconditional champion. In the summer of 1988, the long-awaited match took place and lasted only one round. Mike knocked out his opponent in the first round.
Michael Spinks can deal with the extreme pressure.
Michael Spinks has to keep moving because every shot. Oh, the
Uppercut.
This is the first time Michael Spinks has ever been down in a professional fight.
And he's down again and in serious trouble. A right hand.
After this devastating defeat, Michael Spinks hung up the gloves and never entered the ring again. For this fight, Mike Tyson received the enormous sum, for those times, of $22 million. At that time, it was the biggest fee in boxing history, and Mike was not even 22 years old. The battle took place 3 days before his birthday. According to the general opinion of boxing analysts, the fight with Spinks became the crown jewel of Mike Tyson's career. This wasn't just a fight, this was a total demolition. That evening showed that he could stand up to any legendary champion.
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
Tyson has a very special place in the history of boxing. He was a champion for 3 years and 3 months. But during that short period, he caught the attention of fans and the general public, even those who weren't interested in boxing at all. Why? Because people love knockouts, and Tyson had plenty of them in his professional record. But Tyson also had something bigger. Everyone was talking about Tyson's aura. It was really something powerful, frightening, but at the same time surprisingly attractive. People liked to observe these expressions of his aggression. Mike was an inexhaustible source of this pure and natural aggression, and the most amazing thing was that no one was disappointed if the battle ended quickly. Another important fact is that Iron Mike is the last super heavyweight in history who headlined the pound-for-pound ranking, and we, devoted fans, would like to remember him as the man which he was back then. Of course, in the 90s, he got a few memorable victories and was always in the top 10 best athletes in his weight class. But that still wasn't the Mike we used to know. Iron Mike, in his best shape, was not just in the top 10 best athletes, he was the top of the list. He was the king of his league, and everyone who came into his territory was scared to look him straight into the eye. We remember Mike as a tough, fearsome, and extremely fast super heavyweight. He gave us one of the most prominent epochs in boxing, and we say, thanks, Mike. That was unforgettable.
All during my training, I've been afraid of this man. I thought this man might be capable of beating me. I've dreamed of him beating me. But I always stayed afraid of him. But as closer I get to the ring, I'm more confident. Once I'm in the ring, I'm a god. No one could beat me.
However, life prepared for Mike a lot of tests. Defeat in the ring, the emptiness in his soul after betrayal by loved ones, and zeros in his bank accounts after being cheated by managers, divorces, and alcohol. Years later, Tyson was not himself, but he still says that no matter how his fate has changed, he can still take a blow. Judge Mike by his young years, when he fought primarily for the victory. His last fights were for money. He just had to go into the ring, but the fire was no longer in his eyes. He did not fight for victory.
He's worked up a full sweat. I want to tell you, the electricity in this crowd is awesome. I haven't felt like this since it was about 4 o'clock in the morning one morning. We're in a place called Kinshasa, Zaire, when Muhammad Ali came in against George Foreman for the heavyweight championship of the world.
There is no doubt that Mike Tyson at the peak of his career was one of the best athletes in the history of boxing. But you can't be on top forever. Even legends do not linger in the ring forever. Their days are also numbered.
I keep my eyes on him, I keep my eyes on him, I keep my eyes on him. Then once I see a chink in his armor, boom, and one of his eyes may move.
During the fight, I'm supremely confident. I'm moving my head, he's throwing punches. I'm making them miss and I'm countering. I'm hitting him to the body, I'm punching him real hard. And I'm punching, and when I'm punching him, I know he's not able to take my punches. 1, 2, 3 punches, I'm throwing him butt punches and bunches. He goes down, he's out. I'm victorious. Mike Tyson, greatest fighter that ever lived.